So you really like Devonta Smith.
I do.
You are going crazy over him, which means that you must really, really like your number one guy.
No, I really like all three of my top three, as you could tell.
But there's something that you like about Jamar Chase over those other two.
Well, Jamar Chase, to me, is just a slam dunk. That's where it's like, okay, Devonta Smith, you know, okay, the size thing is a little skinny. Okay, it's not perfect. You know, Dyami Brown, maybe you could say a little bit, yeah, I'd like to see it. Wish he got used in a few different ways, right? Like you talked about. It was just to go, like, okay, I'm being nitpicky. Jamar Chase is just, it's the safest, let alone it's really awesome and the best too. I mean, it's just phenomenal. Now, again, I don't think the gap is like I said, I think it's, okay, he's 1, Devonta Smith is 1A, and Dyami Brown is 1B. I wouldn't be mad if any of those three went off the board. If somebody went, oh, we picked this receiver first, I'm not going to go, well, that's just so stupid. How could you pass up that other guy?
Yeah.
I think they're all worthy of it, in my opinion. I do. But, yeah, when it comes to Jamar Chase, he just has everything. I mean, first off, he has the ability to be an elite slot receiver. So he could be an elite slot receiver. He's not the most technique, well-schooled route runner yet. But again, it's like our old thing. Like, let's not over-evaluate the guy that we've seen can do every movement on the planet with his hips and his feet.
Right.
And just because no one's taught him exactly how to run the routes yet, let's not say, oh, he's not a good route runner. No, there's plenty of good. But, you know, one, he could be the best slot in football, but he also could be like the best outside weapon in football too, and just run by you with pure speed. And I think between all the other guys too, we're talking about maybe other than the guy from Florida, Kadarius Toney, this is the best receiver with the ball in his hands. That's where he's special. So one, he can separate route running. Two, he plays way bigger than 6'1", 200. You know, that's the one thing I like about him, Devonta Smith, you know, and Dyami Brown. You know, they're 6 foot, 6'1", all that. But, man, when the ball's in the air, it's not 50-50. That's the other thing. You know, like you've heard me say before, it's kind of like 70-30 when the ball's in the air with these guys. So he has that aspect. But as far as going over the middle and being fearless, he's the most fearless of all of them. You know, and again, snatches the ball out of the air and is a guy that is looking to make big plays happen.
Hey, Matt Casey sighting.
Matt Casey, look, there he is, baby. He's looking. Yep, the Jets aren't getting him. Sorry, but I'm really excited about Jamar Chase because he is, again, awesome receiver, weapon. He can do everything you want on the offensive side of the ball, where it's like you could line him up a tailback and give him the toss sweeps. You can do it all with him.
Yeah, everyone's heaping the praise on him. In that title game, did you go back and watch the national championship game versus Clemson? 9 catches, 221 yards, couple touchdowns. Most of that against A.J. Terrell?
Most of it, and to me, was, if you remember last year in the quarterback rankings, that to me was one of the positives of A.J. Terrell. Everyone going, well, he got beat in that LSU game. I wanted to go, no, he never got beat. He was there with Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase just always caught it. He just couldn't break the ball up.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a big thing for me. But it was also a positive for Jamar Chase to go, oh, look, even when he has a guy that can run with him a little bit and has talent, he's still a real option down the field. So he's special, you know, just from that aspect of being able to win one-on-ones outside. You know, like Smith and Dyami Brown, he has the jump cut that we talked about. He gives himself the two-way go off the line of scrimmage. So it's boom. You don't know which way he's going to go. He always has balance. And like those other two guys too, within 3 steps, he's by you and on top of you and now putting his hand up. And you're going, uh-oh, watch out.
A couple of the comps for him, which I think are interesting every once in a while. Daniel Jeremiah over at NFL Network said he is like a faster Anquan Bolden. Jamar himself said that he respected Des Bryant growing up.
Sure.
Do you see him kind of are those similar at all to what you see from Jamar?
I mean, I understand, but he's more explosive than they are. Straight away speed. Yeah. That's where I look at it. You know, those guys were great because they can make people miss and do that. And that's where, I mean, he can do that. He's awesome at catching a slot slant over the middle. And now there's a linebacker there, and he hits the brakes, and he makes him miss. And then it's up the field 5 yards, and now there's a safety, and he makes him miss. And now he turns it on, and he tries to outrun everybody. Like, there's a lot of that. But, like, that's where Des Bryant and Anquan Bolden couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, they could make you miss, but they weren't going to re-accelerate and now beat people 50 yards down the sideline for a touchdown. That, to me, is where he has another gear. Really, you know, I'm trying to, and I didn't write down a whole lot of pro comparisons, and I know I've already used this one already this today where I said this, but to me, it's a better version of like a DJ Moore, from Carolina.
Okay.
It's that kind of guy again too, where he could catch a screen and go for 80. He could just beat you over the top for 80. He could catch a slant, break a few tackles, make people miss, do all that for a 50-yard gain. He's a really special player. And again, I think he is the number one receiver in the draft, but I don't think it's by the leaps and bounds that I think I've seen some people try to say it is.
Jens Jewell says you were high on Justin Jefferson last year, which you were. Who is better of the LSU kids, Jefferson or Chase? Chase was better than Jefferson last year. The one thing that does think about Chase is, we didn't get to see him play football this year. Well, that's the question, too, is that he had all this success, huge year.
Yep.
Helps when you got Joe Burrow.
Sure.
Helps when you have Joe Brady.
Yep.
There as well.
No doubt about it.
So it was a good environment around him.
It was a good environment, but still the specimen himself is the real deal. He's definitely worthy of a top 10, top 15 pick. Anyway, he's a game breaker. I mean, that's really all there is to say. And again, the big thing, too, will just be knowing the guy and knowing the player. This is where teams are going to have to do their due diligence this year, just as, what kind of guy is this kid? Did he just, during the season this year, just put his feet up and, drink chocolate milk the whole time and chocolate milkshakes? Or was he a kind of guy that we know was working and staying on top of his craft?
And drinking almond milk.
And drinking protein shakes instead of milkshakes and all that. I think that's what, teams are going to have to figure out. And if he is that guy that stayed in shape and done all that, then I expect him to be the number one receiver off the board.
Fran Saressa says, what team is the best fit for Jamar Chase? I'm going to answer for you, any team.
Well, again, like a lot of these guys we talked about, you're right. There's not going to be any system that they don't fit into. Right? And let me pull up.
And if they don't, you got to get rid of the coach and bring in another coach.
Well, yeah, exactly right. The top 5 or 6 guys we've talked about here today all have really, really special traits and should be able to fit anywhere. And I'm just looking here.
But I guess that's the question because it's interesting. Like last year, as deep as that draft class was, what was the first pick? The first pick in the draft was Henry Ruggs, 12 overall. And so when you do have a lot of guys that are really good,
it can push
sometimes they can drop down, right? Because quarterbacks are going to go up. You're going to get some offensive tackles. And then you're going to go, well, we really like Jamar Chase, but, Kadarius Toney. We could get him maybe in the second round.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe he'll fall that far.
You have to play that. That's where it's going to be how you scout them, how they're ranked on your board, right? Yeah, okay. What if you have Jamar Chase as your number one receiver, and he's got a 6.8 grade?
Yeah.
Right. And let's just say you're the Dolphins at number 3, but you got Devonta Smith at 6'7" and Dyami Brown at 6'7", and Kadarius Toney at 6'5", and that may be where you go. Well, maybe if somebody wants to trade up with us, we trade down. And we might not get the guy that we have number 1, but we have 2, 3, 4, and 5 just barely underneath them, and now we got an extra first-round pick or an extra second-round pick. That'll be what teams have to decide.
Okay, so how high do you think a wide receiver could go this year?
What is
the ultimate
top?
All right.
I mean, the Dolphins are the team I look at there, but I don't think they're number 3.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to do. They have Devontae Parker, they have Preston Williams, and they just signed Will Fuller. And I don't think that group down there, Brian Flores, being New England, is we're going to pick a number 3 wide receiver in the draft. That's just what my heart tells me. I don't think the Falcons. I don't know if they're going to go there right now. Not with Julio and Ridley.
Yeah.
The Bengals, I don't expect either. Be interesting, but it's a pretty good core of receivers they got there as well.
Yeah, they weren't maybe as good as we thought they were going to be.
No, you're right. But when you take in Boyd and T. Higgins, right?
Yeah.
And then, Auden Tate, maybe they think about it. Maybe. Sure. The Eagles certainly have a need. The Lions have a need.
Hey, the Eagles, Christopher Jones. Should the Eagles take Mac Jones, Trey Lance, or the top 1 or 2 receivers?
Oof.
Because there is talk about the Eagles wanting to take a quarterback, right? Even though they got
there is, yeah.
They just want more controversy.
Well,
they just got rid of the controversy.
That's what
Why would you add more controversy?
I've talked about, I mean, if they're going to take a quarterback at number 6, then you have to trade Jalen Hurts, because what are you going to do, this whole same problem over again? So,
yeah, it seems...
they would be a team that I certainly would look at to be in the wide receiver conversation. I will say, though, I don't think teams like taking receivers in the top 5. Not this day and age right now in the NFL, where we see all these receivers year after year like you're talking about. There's still some good free agent receivers out in the market. You're seeing the market for free agent wide receivers. The money is not as great, I think, because of all these aspects we're talking about. So I don't have a good answer for that yet as far as where these guys go, because I also need to see the rest of the draft, right?
Yeah.
I need to see defensive ends a little bit more. I need to finish the corners. I got to get into offensive tackles where I haven't got, those are the positions where, especially tackle, defensive linemen, they're more of a premium, and usually those guys go in the top 10 because they're not growing on trees like some of these other positions.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.